Hello everyone and welcome to this patch review of patch 8.10. My name is Benvarmeren and I usually shoutcast, but I also have a YouTube that I try to keep up as much as possible. But with this being a patch review, you don't want to hear me talking that much, you want to get into the good stuff, so let's just get rolling. Jumping down to the champions, we do have Zion coming up as our first pick of the day, and I think that Zion definitely needs to be toned down. He's been such a huge pick for such a long time, and when he's in the meta and he's so safe, which he is, you really don't have a good chance of shutting him down. It's very hard to pick a carry against him and stand a chance at make him lose the laning phase unless he really oversteps his boundaries. Then he's always going to be safe. And just because of him being such a bully, stuff like Maokai or let's say Gnar just isn't as viable as a Sion or an Ornn. So, base health regen decreased, E base damage decreased, damage ratio increased and no longer deals bonus damage to secondary targets. E armor shred now applies to secondary targets, duration increased. So, let's look at the numbers. I think that I agree with the base health. I think you might be able to tone it down a little bit. I think it's a good way of trying to take away his oppressiveness by making it so that he doesn't regain health as fast. And I think that shutting down some of the damage that he has in the Roar of the Slayer is the right way. I think his Q is probably the worst, sort of the biggest thing about him, the thing that makes him the biggest bully. But I do agree with you having to at least try and remove some of the power from his E. I don't agree 100% with the armor reduction duration. I think that when you already give it so much more radio in terms of your ability power, I don't think that you need to turn up the armor reduction too, because it just makes the Q much stronger. Dr. Mundo, art cost and cooldown increased. I haven't seen that much of Dr. Mundo. I wouldn't say that he's a strong pick actually. So I think this might just be a little bit overboard. And I think you should have given it one more patch to just see how he fares, because when Zion goes down in priority, if he goes down, I don't think he will actually, because I don't think those changes are that big. Someone like Mundo might jump up if someone like Zion, a bully, isn't that high up as well. But I do like that they look at Poppy instead, because Poppy is one of my favorite champions. I love to watch her after they reworked her. But movement speed is definitely needed. She's not as big as a fighter as someone like Zion or an Ornn. But I like the idea of you giving her movement speed so that she can roam more easily from the top lane down to perhaps the mid lane, just down to the Rift Herald. I think that's a good way of trying to address some of her weaknesses in the game. Sack. W ability power ratio removed, E and R ability power damage ratio increased. No longer deals an additional 2% target max health per 100 ability power. I think that's not the right way. I don't think Zack's a bad jungler at all, and I actually think that he was in a good spot. I don't think you needed to tone down his clearing in the jungle at all, because he's not that strong in the clearing at all, I feel like. And I think you might just butcher him this way, because the 2% additional damage to the target's maximum health were definitely needed for him. It made it so much easier for him to just clear the jungle, and now he's going to be so much slower. And I've heard something about them also changing the jungle, so he's also going to be butchered by the changes that will come later on. I don't know the exact changes. I just heard that you can't get level 3 off of 2 camps anymore, if I remember correctly. So you can't go from, I think it's you can't go from blue to wolves to red, or red to wolves to blue. That which used to be the standard path. I think the only way, as far as I've heard, the only way that you can get level 3 now of 3 camps is Crocs red blue, or Crocs blue red, depending on which way you do it. So someone like Zag is definitely lacking in terms of power now in the meta, because he just can't keep up with the better junglers of someone like Kindred. Or Graves, hell, even a Kha'Zix or Jarvan. Bard, W mana decreased. Don't mind at all. He's a good support. Definitely needs some fine tuning. Runic Echoes updated. Now builds out of Lost Chapter instead of Aether Wisp. Movement speed reduced. Cooldown reduction and mana added. I don't like those changes. I feel like that when you are an AP jungler, you definitely need mana to become better at ganking. You don't need cooldown reduction. Yes, the cooldown reduction might help you a little bit in terms of clearing, but movement speed helps you get from camp to camp faster. And it's not like you're lacking in terms of mana anyways in the start of the game. You have your blue buff to rely on. So I think this hurts the AP junglers quite a lot. At least it sets them behind in terms of their wave clearing overall, I'd assume, after they don't get to the camps fast. And their ability to gank has been toned down as well. Warding totem, wards last longer but have a higher cooldown. I think that's fine. Especially after you removed Sidestone and the Tracker's Knife. I think it's fine to have ward totems last longer, just to give the different junglers a little bit more power in the early game to ward up. And I think this is a shame. So yeah, so I like these changes. I think that's good. I think this is a big shame because now you can no longer have both a jungle item and a support item. I really like the idea of junglers going for a relic shield, just to get that extra vision. I know that Riot, they have a problem with junglers laying down too much vision, making it too safe. But I think that it was just such a nice thing to be able to lay down that extra vision from the junglers, and especially considering that it takes so long for you to even get that upgrade on your relic shield. So I don't think it's bad at all to have that possibility to go for the relic shield, to go for the long run. So yeah, I very much disagree with this change from Riot. Just a few balances. Cheap shot damage increase, ingenious hunter item cooldown reduction, more front weighted towards initial value. I think this is nice. I think this is actually good. Phase rush hasn't been favored at all by tons of people. I don't think I think this will put Cassiopeia up in terms of value. I don't think it'll go over to someone like Rise. I don't think he'll pick it at all. I think he's much more valuing the Unshield spellbook because it allows him more freedom on the map to try and switch between Ghost and Hell Ignite or Barrier, whatever he wants, and even TP. So I think there's some good changes. I don't think that it'll help someone like Rise at all. I actually haven't seen these two be used that much. We talked a lot about how it could be used on AD carries when they first came out, but we just haven't seen them being used on AD carries at all. Like AD carries, they don't feel the necessity to use those in bad lanes because they can always pick something and just fall back. and the value of what's it called? The scaling AD rune, which is something with wind. Anyways, it's not very often that I need to talk about runes, especially not the minor ones. Anyways, so AD cards, they just value the scalingness of the one that gives you attack speed in from your extra movement speed, and the scalingness ability that gives you AD and AP. They just value that so much more. I don't think that's a big change at all. Might help with some of the assassins that have been coming out lately. Definitely help against a Rengar, because Rengar is bullshit at this point. He's just so strong. Jungle camp experience. Jungle monsters give less experience, but experience scales with levels. Gromp no longer grants 37.5 reduced experience on the first clear. Medium Crocs, small Crocs, and large Razorbeak no longer grants 25 reduced experience on the first clear. Large Crocs first clear experience reduction 50 to 40%. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Now you gain less experience from a camp, but as far as I read on Twitter, you can get your you can get your level 3 off of Crocs red blue. So they've been changed. More damage to help you with you having to clear more jungle camps. You get more experience here. Get more experience here as well. Damage as well. I think that's all the way through, right? They've increased the damage. Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of good sense to just up the damage on the items, just to try and balance out the need to do more camps in order to get level 3. So I definitely agree with those changes. Rift held. 2 Rift Scuttlers spawn at the start of the game, but after both die, only one spawns at a time for the remainder of the game. That Rift Scuttler is tanky early and worth significantly more experience. I think this is interesting, because this forces you to be so much more proactive in the game. 2 minutes. That'll be around the time you start your second wave in the bottom side, right? Yeah, around the time, perhaps in the middle. So I think this is a very interesting change. It'll definitely force more fights early and force people to react to those fights. But with AP junglers being fucked over by the changes on Runic Echoes, they're going to have a harder time responding to these Rift Scuttlers. They'll have more fighting power in terms of the cooldown reduction, but they'll just have a harder time getting to those Rift Scuttlers. So someone like Trundle, Skarner, Graves, Olaf will still be so much more valuable to try and get these, especially because some of these do have some CC. At least Skarner, Trundle, and Graves doesn't have. So Skarner and Trundle will probably move up more in value because they have the CC necessary to try and kill this Rift Scuttler faster. Bounty, killstreak bounty is no granted only to the killer, not the team. I think all the other changes are very much geared towards team play. And now this comes out and makes it so much more assassin based, very solo carry based. I like the idea that they want people to have more power individually. I think it's perhaps, yeah, now that I think about it, it's probably the best change you can make in terms of give people more individual power. I think you should give the 1 kill and the 2 kills over to that single person instead of saying, okay, 3 kills, then you get the bounty. Or at least 2 kills, because 2 kills is already at a point where people will start to snowball. So I like the changes. I don't think they fit the theme of the whole patch note at all. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Because if more assassins come out, if the game starts to gear more towards early game action, which they've dragged in like 2 different directions by having the Scarlet Crab, but also Vision, saying that Vision makes it safer to play in the early game, but Scarlet Crab makes it so that you want to play more for the early game. This could be a way of making snowballs less effective if people can kill the one that is just killing people everywhere. Yeah, I think this is about it. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this patch note breakdown, and obviously you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time.